What's up everyone, it's Caddy with Money Vesting. So just wanted to go live for a little bit over here, talk about NIO stock, which seems to be running higher today. It's up just over 5.5%. Just wait and watch. As soon as I'm live, this thing is going to pull back. As soon as I talk about NIO pushing higher, maybe we see some type of a pullback. Hopefully that's not the case, but let me know in the comment live chat if you guys can see the screen, if you guys can hear me without any issues. We're gonna do some DD on NIO, talk about this stock a little bit because we are seeing that push higher. Again, 5.5%, trading past over $45 per share. So, all right, let me know in the live chat if you guys can see the screen and if you guys can hear me without any issues. I would really appreciate that, just to make sure that we don't have any technical difficulties or issues, because I know that we've had some our fair share of issues in the past. Right, so this right here is going to be the 1 minute chart, and we've got the 5-minute chart over here for our analysis on NIO stock. So Tesla is down about 90 basis points right now, but we are seeing that huge bullish momentum to the upside for NIO stock. Here, let me make sure that it's not just on current members. Live chat, anyone? All right, should be working fine. All right, so yeah, let me know if you guys can hear me, if you guys can see the screen. I would really appreciate that. And we are seeing a bit of a breakdown here below those moving averages for NIO stock, so we'll see if that level actually holds up or if we see any type of a pullback intraday. All right, loud and clear, Vishal, welcome on board. Happy to have you. So I've got the 1 minute chart and I've got the 5-minute chart over here for NIO. And this right here is going to be the daily pattern. So certainly we are seeing that momentum carry over for NIO stocks, certainly running past over $43 resistance. And that's the main level, right? That's the level that we need to kind of stay above and break out over to make sure that we see a successful trend reversal. We're certainly forming some type of higher highs as well. Coursera stock has been amazing for me lately. Definitely recommend for the long term. Yeah, I'll definitely check that out for sure to get a good understanding of what that's doing. But let me see if I can send this link over to our Discord as well, so that everybody is aware that I am currently live. So yeah, just give me 1 second. All right, so perfect. All right, so we are good to go. And again, we're up close to 6%. We were higher. We were much higher than that. And look at the 5-minute chart. So we are seeing, buyers kind of step in. But the real resistance area to break here is going to be that $45 level. Let's see if we can actually break out over $45. Doesn't look like we're going to see that, but let's see if we actually do get that breakout over that 21 EMA. So right now we are seeing a bit of a pattern shift here. So if I bring out the RSI, you'll notice that we were pushing up on a negative divergence. Again, this is going to be on a more granular scale. We're looking at the 1 minute chart here. You'll notice that we were forming some higher highs, but we were going up on weaker and weaker breadth. So this right here, we're kind of like lower highs for NIO stock. So it's no surprise that we are seeing a bit of a pullback. And like I said earlier at the beginning of this live stream, it's no surprise that we're going to see a bit of a pullback as soon as I'm live, right? So we were up way past over 6%, 6.5%. Dave, welcome from Virginia. So shout out to you. Thank you so much for joining in. We were trading as high as $45.75, and right now we are up, at close to over $45.30. But that's the next level I would watch, right? Right now we are seeing a big push. All right, there goes our alert. We are pushing past over $45.30. We need to kind of regain back over that 21 EMA, and that's the level that NIO has also validated like several times. Like this entire uptrend, you'll notice that NIO has consistently traded above the 21 EMA, right? So several times we've kind of validated that support. Once over here, right in the beginning, another time at around 10 a.m. Eastern, and you'll notice that a couple times over here. And then pushing higher, had a couple retests on this moving average and then pushing higher once again. This right here was some type of a bull flag as well. Noah says, I knew you would be going live after seeing NIO pop. Yeah, and you know, I did a video on this earlier today, and I wasn't expecting like this, basically this catalyst to get priced in the way it is. You know, we broke down a speculation and how NIO is potentially going to be entering like a smaller sort of scale market, like a $31,000 market on a different brand. And you know, let's see if it actually does happen. But super excited about that as well if it does happen in the future, if it does come into fruition. But this right here was some type of a bull flag for NIO stock, right? So you'll notice that we were on this consistent uptrend, then we started trading sideways, lower highs and higher lows before another breakout to the upside. And then we started forming some type of a negative divergence, so higher highs and some lower highs for the relative strength index, which is why we're seeing a bit of a pullback once again. So, you know, there is going to be a medium-term support on the 1 minute at close to $45. That's the level that we're going to mark over here on the chat. So Greg says, I regret not buying more. Damn, I sold NIO a couple days ago because of fear of CPI. Glad you went live for this great moment. Yeah, so my price target for NIO, you guys know it's at $75 by year's end. And I would not be surprised if you actually do hit that level like in 2021, and then of course over the long term going into next year and the following year, it's at well over $100 plus, like 150 plus as they scale their deliveries, right? So today's 6% day is kind of like a blip in what we have on the broader scheme of things. You know, with them focusing so much on the user, I compare them with Amazon and the likes of Apple as opposed to any other electric vehicle maker, because I feel like NIO is trying to build this whole experience around the user as opposed to just building the electric vehicles. I think that's what's really going to drive the success of the company long term moving forward. So I just want to make sure that the chat is not delayed because I am getting some of the live chat. I just want to make sure that it's not delayed. You know, let me know if you guys can kind of see the time here. Right now it's 11:53 for me. So let me know what time it is right now. Prasad, just let me know what time you guys see at 11. All right, perfect. So 11:52. All right, no, that's great. Because I know that previous live streams we had the chat a little bit delayed. All right, so that's good. So 5-minute chart, a lot of buying pressure came in. So if you look at the volume here, you know, 44 million shares already traded, right? Already we're into 44 million shares, and it's only about 12 p.m. Eastern. So we're seeing that move. The average volume also kind of go up. And again, I put out a video, you know, going over how I strongly believe the bottom may be in for NIO. So $30 may very well have been the bottom for the stock, and we've seen, you know, a lot of support and a lot of demand right at that level for NIO stock. So, you know, as soon as we tested those levels, we had a lot of buying pressure kick in, so we push up higher. So definitely, you know, in my strong opinion, we are due for some more upside here. The R side, the MACD are approaching some overbought levels right now. So the R side is trading at 69. So we're not quite overbought just yet, and the MACD also has been pushing higher with this move to the upside. So it really depends on where that next resistance is going to be. I mean, in my opinion, you know, we could find some resistance at this level, close to, I want to say 46.30. And the reason I say that is because it was the level that we previously found resistance at coming in from March 12th, right? So earlier this year, you know, we basically had a resistance here and then we pulled back. So that right there would be the next resistance to watch, which I will also highlight in our video from, you know, tonight, where I go over Tesla and NIO stock and kind of break down the next resistance level. 46.30, 46 level, like exactly this resistance is going to be the level to watch next. All right, so suggestion for an entry point. So Han, if you're not already in this stock just yet, if you're looking for a place to add more shares, or if you're looking for an entry point for NIO, right now it's no doubt that we have moved up quite a bit, and the relative strength and the MACD from a technical standpoint does look a little bit on the overbought side, right? We're up almost 50% in the last few weeks. So if you're not already in, maybe I would wait a little bit of a pullback or a correction. I would most certainly buy it on a red day as opposed to on a day where it's up over 6%, right? Because majority of the move has already happened. I mean, if you look at the 5-minute chart, I mean, it's just straight up with a lot of volume kicked in. And we're seeing that breakout from that symmetrical triangle. So just from a technical standpoint, I would wait for you know, the next red day for NIO and a pullback to basically start a position. And it doesn't mean that you have to go in you know, very aggressively. You can kind of dollar cost average for the long term here on NIO, depending on what your strategy is. Whether it's a swing trade, whether it's a long term play, you can kind of formulate a plan and then see what best fits for your strategy. But $40 is the level to watch. That's going to be this price tag.
at close to $40. So there we go, breaking out over 49.50 as well for NIO. But the moving averages, like look at how perfectly all these moving averages are sitting. Like we've got the 21 EMA sitting at 40.20. 40.20 is the level that we're sitting at for the 21 exponential moving average. The 200 and the 50 both sitting right underneath $40. So there's going to be significant demand for NIO stock at these levels. Like there's no doubt in my mind that we are going to see a lot of buying pressure if we ever make our way down there. But definitely seeing that momentum to the upside on the 5-minute chart. I've got an alert set at high of days and a breakout over 45.75 to see if we do get a retest of high of days today. All right, so let's take a look at some of those comments. About my NIO shares at 594, added more at 33 to bring my average to 950. Best decision I ever made in my life. That's awesome. That's what I love about the community that NIO has more specifically. So congratulations on that. That's a great average, $9.50. That's incredible. And for you, it's going to be an easy 10x stock because over $90 is when you actually 10x your investment. So $90 is not going to be a problem for NIO over the long term. My price target, in 2021 is going to be $75, and then going into next year as they scale their production, past 240,000, over 500,000, of course, over 1 million vehicles when they have that NIO park up and running, 150 plus easy. So I think that's a great average there. And again, congratulations on the gains so far. And I think there's more of the gains are yet to come moving forward for NIO. So right now you'll notice that we are starting to see some type of lower highs being formed. So this was the negative divergence. After that, we saw a significant pullback here. And now what we're seeing really is these lower highs being formed from NIO stock, unless we actually break out over this resistance to actually make high of day once again for NIO. All right, so Apple resistance is 29.50. 29.50. Apple is not even trading at 29.50, Greg. Apple's resistance is going to be at 127. So where is Apple trading at? And I honestly don't want to go into too many other stocks on this live stream, only because I want to focus on NIO's price action for the day. Because that's kind of like the whole topic of this live stream. But I'll definitely be doing more live streams. And again, if you guys want to get access to our private live streams, or more specifically to our trade ideas, swing trading opportunities, buy and sell alerts, the Patreon link is going to be down in the description below. I think we only have about 20 spots left, and after that it'll be closed up. So the link is going to be down in the description. But Apple has a resistance at close to 127. And right now you'll notice that Apple is slightly up about 70 basis points. We're trading almost exactly at 127. And that's the level I would watch as a resistance. 127 is a level. But Apple, of course, depending on the time frame, long term, it's an easy 120, like 175 even as 225 stock in the future. So we passed 127. So yeah, I mean, I would wait for the day to actually close. Let's see if we can actually close above 127, because most of the times, we'll breach certain support or resistance levels intraday. It's no surprise that sometimes you'll see stocks kind of breach certain support resistance levels, but eventually either roll over, or basically have a false breakout to the upside before the close of the day, as the sellers kind of come back into the market. So I always wait for candles to close, whatever candle you're looking at, to get any type of a confirmation, whether it be 1 minute, 5 minute, daily, or 4 hour. I would always wait for the candles to actually close before making decisions, because anything can happen, within that candle. So wait for the daily candle to actually close on Apple above 127. So I've been in and out from $12 up to 45, swing trading it. Knowles, that's great, that's awesome. Everyone has a different strategy on how they want to play different stocks, so that's absolutely incredible with swing trading. So I like the fact that it's moving away from Tesla. I think that's been the trend for a really long time, right? So you'll notice that NIO, for one, has actually had some nice gains, like coming in from, May 17th. You'll notice that we have pushed up, close to about 49%. And that's been the trend, as opposed to Tesla, which is more so of a consolidation pattern, and it's just now starting to trade sideways. So if I were to bring, very simple analysis here, you'll notice that we are just trading sideways and coming in from May 19th or even May 12th, like we've just traded sideways. We're pretty much flat here. And if you look at the broader trend, you can kind of extend this even further out, and you'll notice that we have just been, validating some of those higher highs, higher lows, and we're just, trading inside this range sort of that we have just consolidated in between. But nonetheless, NIO, of course, if you look at some of those EV stocks here,
you'll notice that XPeng and NIO are probably the ones that are leading the most. XPeng has also been on the move, right? So right now NIO is breaking out over this lower highs, so I'll actually go ahead and delete this because it's no longer valid because we are pushing higher. Let's see if we can actually make the high of day. That's the most important piece, is if NIO can continue on this momentum and break out over 45.75. That's the resistance that we're going to be watching for NIO stock. What is moving the price today? That's a great question. So we actually had a catalyst come out this morning. I don't know if that's actually the reason why it's getting priced in, but this right here was the piece of news that I'm going to bring up very quickly, that I also talked about in my previous video on NIO stock. But there is some speculation that NIO is going to, there's a couple catalysts. The first one is that ES8 is basically getting rolled out, or they basically got the approval. So NIO completes key procedure when it comes to the ES8's entry in Norway, right? That's the first vehicle that we learned about when they were talking about the expansion into Europe, and when we had the Norway sort of live stream and the press conference, they also mentioned that ES8 is going to be the first vehicle that they actually export over to Norway. Let me see if I can bring up these stories that I actually found on their Instagram. I think that was really, really cool. By the way, if you guys want to connect with me on Instagram, feel free to do that as well. But this right here, let me see if I can bring that up. So first, let's just go over to NIO very quickly, and their story. So this was, so it's no longer here. So EP9, NIO Day 2021, ES8, EC6s. Oh, so was it NIO Norway? All right, so I think it was this one. Yeah, they don't have any stories here. But NIO spotting, let's take a look at those. I think, yeah, so this is what they posted about a day ago, right? So, again, somebody basically posting their ES8 here. Another one that's found in Norway. So they're looking at different, of course, NIO ES8 in Norway once again. Some nice shots, right? Some really cool shots of the NIO vehicles. And this is, again, some of their posts. So again, if you guys want to connect with me on Instagram, feel free to do that as well. But this right here, so NIO announced on Friday that it has received the European whole vehicle trade approval for the ES8, marking an essential foundation for NIO's entry into Norway and the European market at large. The NIO ES8 for Europe is officially approved for mass production and license plate registration in all EU countries, NIO says. So that's actually a pretty big deal. Like, all EU countries for NIO's ES8 license plate registration, the approval, it's a pretty big deal. So under regulation EU 2018 or 858, the type approval certification was issued to the NIO ES8 and its systems, components, and separate technical units, and after corresponding engineering audits and module approvals. So that was catalyst number one that we broke down. Another piece of catalyst that was really important for NIO that actually came out today was going to be this piece. So that was breaking news. NIO's potential sub-brand is set to target $31,300 market. And this is all something that we broke down in our earlier video that I posted, and that was basically, Tech Planet reported that NIO's sub-brand project is currently in a confidential stage, with the project name being a 4-letter code internally after the sub-brand name has not yet been finalized, but NIO is currently building an R&D team for the project in Shanghai. So William Lee has also mentioned in his previous videos or basically conferences that even if NIO is going to target a mass market, basically like a low-end market, it's going to be on a different brand, and that's what they basically mentioned here too. So NIO is the only Chinese electric vehicle brand with a firm foothold in the high-end market. And the latest data from China Automotive Technology Research shows that NIO's average vehicle sales price is about $70,000, or I think it was like close to $68,000. And NIO is assembling a team internally to secretly create a new lower-end sub-brand that will target the market price around 200,000 won or 31,300. Tech Planet reported on Friday. So in order to differentiate from NIO, it is highly likely that the relatively independent new subsidiary will be established. And unnamed NIO insider said. And reading further, you'll notice that and there was also a quote from William Lee. So we're actively looking at ways to enter the mass market more aggressively, which is a long-term strategy for us, William Lee also mentioned. So I think those were the two catalysts for the company. Again, this is not confirmed yet. This is only speculated. unless we get a full confirmation. We did get a little bit of a hint on the Gemini model, or not the model, but like the project that they're working on. But that's also going to be a new product under NIO brand. That's going to be released on NIO Day, like 2021. That's going to be either later this year, December, going into January. So there we go. So NIO is breaking out over 45.75. We just hit 45.80. We're now up a little bit over 7% on the day. Definitely a strong move to the upside behind these two catalysts, right? So hi Caddy, great videos, thank you for posting them. Do you think there's a chance where NIO could end up surpassing Tesla or even VW by supplying the most EVs in the world market in the future? It's definitely possible. It's not something that we can rule out. Certainly not. I mean, NIO is a brand that is establishing itself globally, and that's the plan for them to actually eventually move to other countries in Europe. In fact, I think I was reading that they're going to be moving into 5 other European countries next year, and then eventually making their way into the United States. So it's definitely possible. The only thing is that how quickly can we scale production and capacity for NIO, right? So right now, of course, Tesla has the ability to generate, capacity-wise and production-wise, a lot more vehicles than NIO, like close to about 1 million more than NIO. So let's take a look at APPS very quickly before I answer that question, because I do see a couple of comments about that. But the only thing is the production capacity and the catalyst, right? So that's going to be the big driver there for NIO. But I definitely do see your camera is out of focus. Correct it, please. Is it really out of focus? That's strange. It should be fine. But anyway, so I do see it happening globally, but at least in the China market, I do see NIO kind of overtaking Tesla at some point. Only because we just know, regulation-wise and in terms of subsidies and the government policies, we're gonna see NIO and some of those Chinese electric vehicle brands kind of take the lead here because of how things are working there and how things are structured. So globally, it's gonna take some time, in my opinion, but specific markets, they most certainly have the ability to outshine both VW and Tesla over the long term. Right, is this better now? Can you guys hear me? Can you guys see the screen and hear me okay? This is like beyond frustrating, you guys. Like, I'm so sorry, but this is like, God, this is just so stupid. Alright, so I think we're back on, but like we just lost like over 250 people from the live stream because it started buffering all of a sudden. I have no idea why this happens. Like, seriously, like if I had any way to stop this, I would, but I just, like, everything was working fine up until like a couple days ago, and then all of a sudden my internet and my power just freaks out for no reason. Calmody. Alright, so we should be back up and running, but we literally had this massive drop in the amount of viewers. Upload speed is great. Like, I recently had a great internet put in, but I just don't know what's going on. Alright, anyway, right, so APPS, we actually had a swing trade on this. It's still at play, honestly. I mean, we still have a $77 price target. This is the swing trade analysis that we had. We had an entry under $67. And we are seeing that move to the upside. I honestly believe that we have more room to the upside to as $77. That's going to be the profit target or the price target here. And this is still at play. We had several other plays, like XPI was another one. That's the biotech play for us. It's down slightly today, but we did get a solid entry on this one at close to 125, and we are up a little bit over 8.5% on this one. We had another one on, forgot what it was, but there was another stock, Pubmatic, so PUBM, we had another play on this, which rallied pretty nicely like a couple days ago. Went from like $26 all the way to our target, close to 35. Even today it was trading as $35. So we did, capture a good 35% gain there for PubMatic as well. So APPS, I know that somebody was asking an update on it. My price target, yes, is still $77. I will update. So Nigel, if you're still here, so the next resistance for me is going to be at $77. That's still the price target that I'm watching. And if you are part of our Discord and our Patreon, I will update everybody on there as to what I'm doing next. So congrats to everybody on the gains. Yes, so yeah, today is a solid day for NIO, definitely up over 6.5%. We've seen a lot of buying pressure here. So TIGR looks really good for a swing trade as well, so let's check that one out. So it's up over 10% already. So I mean, if you're already in this since like the last few weeks, May 12, like congratulations, you've practically doubled your money. But I feel like most of the move has already happened for TIGR. The RSI, the MACD is near overbought levels. So I don't personally think that this is good. This is a good swing trading setup, only because the move has already happened, close to 95 to about 100% rally, and even today it's up over 9.5%. All right, so do you expect a pullback or a correction in NIO? Just from a technical standpoint, just talking about the daily chart here, would not be surprised if you do see one, only because it's approaching that 4620 resistance. That's the level that we are going to be watching next. I'll mention it during our NIO and Tesla video, like an update. That right there would be the next resistance coming in from March 12th, right? And the next support, of course, is going to be sitting roughly at $40, aligned with those moving averages. So anything inside this green rectangle, I'd strongly believe that there is going to be a strong level of demand, especially after we have absorbed all that supply. So if you guys remember correctly, if you've been part of the channel, we've been talking about this overhead supply for a really long time for NIO, because every time we've actually touched $40, $45, the pattern's rolled over. And this has happened once here, twice, 3 times. If I were to mark those out, you'll notice that once over here, I'm gonna make that in red. So that right there, once here we rolled over for NIO stock. Another time, it was over here, we kind of rolled over again. So every time we hit that level, we kind of had this pullback for NIO stock. This is the first time we're seeing that breakout, and the reason is very simple, because if you look at that cost breakdown for NIO on Webull, if you go over to the analysis tab, you'll notice a majority of the cost breakdown was sitting between $32 and $42 per share. And as soon as we absorbed all that supply over here, so on June 7th was kind of like the day where we saw significant upside momentum here for NIO. So once we saw that breakout to the upside over those moving averages, that's what made me really confident on some more momentum. And that's when I also mentioned the bottom may be in for NIO stock, only because the overhead supply was getting absorbed. That means more and more people are actually turning positive and green on NIO stock, so they're going to be more confident, right? If there are more people that are in the red, any type of recovery that we had, people saw that as a way to get out of NIO stock, because they are cutting their losses or they're breaking even on their trade after holding for several months. I think the same thing happened with Clover Health. So you'll notice, CLOV, it had a really strong day yesterday, or a couple days ago, like it was up over 85%. And you'll notice that, the last, I want to say a couple days here, so June 7th and June 8th, these 2 days alone, like Clover Health was up 164% in 2 days. And when you look at it from like the beginning of this year, it's been 5 months, the people who are holding from $17, from $15, from $9, even insiders, they saw this candle as a huge profit-taking candle, meaning these are levels that Clover Health has never seen before, right? So it's no surprise that we did see some type of a red candle, so there was just a massive intraday profit-taking for the stock. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that we can't go any higher. We can certainly, go back up to test highs of $20, $25 once again, but it really depends on the short interest, where that sits, and where that short, potential volume is going to come in from once again. So I think that's a real question here for Clover Health. But for NIO, $40 is going to be a strong support level. I strongly believe, kind of aligned with those moving averages, and the support that we've identified is going to be the level to watch, and over past that level, we could see some more upside to as high as $55 to $60 per share. So NIO is again forming some type of resistance. I feel like it's tagged the high of day at close to 45.80. in my opinion, 45.80 is going to be the high of day, just because we are now starting to once again form some type of a double top resistance here, and would not be surprised if we do consolidate rest of the day sideways. All right, Michael says AMD. So AMD, it's struggling today, so it's down about 80 basis points. With AMD, I feel like we have to be very patient. This is a stock that is forming some type of a bull flag above $80. That's the support level. If this were like a swing trade or a day trade for me, I would be a little bit concerned. But long term, I have absolutely no worries because this is easily a $110 stock in my view. And AMD, when the supply kind of catches up to the demand, time and time again, Lisa Su has also mentioned during her earnings calls that she sees more visibility, more clarity when it comes to the demand, and she is long term, focused on the company's business model. So easily, this is a stock that is poised to do really well. We've learned about the underlying business. The fundamentals are really strong for the company, so I'm not worried about it. I mean, $80 is going to be a support. If it does come down to $74, I'll be a buyer at those levels. So when will the bull flag form? This right here is some type of, so we saw a very similar pattern with Nvidia. So if you guys remember correctly, this right here was kind of like the bull flag that we saw for Nvidia stock, and this is the daily chart, right? So you'll notice that we rallied higher here. We had some type of a bull flag and then another breakout to the upside, and today it's up another 2%. I mean, this stock is just not going to stop, it feels like. It's just continuing to go up higher. And it was, earlier too, it was forming some bull flags, like a couple validation of those support levels before breaking out of the upside, consolidation, breakout, consolidation, bull flag, breakout. So unless you're already in Nvidia, I'm personally not going to be, of course, buying at these levels because this is way too overbought. Technically speaking, the RSI of the MACD is very overbought. But for AMD, I feel like the gains are coming. It's just a way of us for us to be patient with the stock, right? It's gonna have some ebbs and flows with AMD, but I think yesterday it had a 2% day, validated some of those moving averages, and moving forward, $84 is going to be a resistance to watch. So Hector says holding about 1,000 shares of NIO. Where do you see this going by the end of December? So my price target by end of this year is going to be $75. We'll see if it actually gets hit, but over the long term, it's at well over $150 as they scale their production capacity. Now, these are also contingent on delivery numbers, so I'm expecting NIO to do at least 90,000 deliveries this year. We did come in a little bit shy on those delivery estimates in the month of May, just about 6,700 vehicles versus my expectations, which were well over 7,200. So NIO did come in 500 short, but I think we learned it wasn't so much about the supply chain issues. It was more like an invoicing issue that the Chinese authorities have also implemented when it comes to electric vehicles. They're kind of changing the way they actually do invoicing. So, they've actually maintained their guidance, right? When it comes to the second quarter, they're still going to be doing close to 20 to 21,000 vehicles is what they're planning to do in the second quarter. So my expectations are 90,000 vehicles. That's going to be a jump of 100% year over year. And if they are able to do that, then my price target is going to be roughly at $75, considering reasonable price to earnings, price to sales ratios. And of course, going into next year, going into the following years, as they scale their production, I see them generating at least $75 to about $80 billion in revenues by the year 2024. That's going to result in about $150 price target according to my analysis and the price to earnings, price to sales ratios that we've talked about. So we are seeing a bit of a pullback here for NIO, breaking down some of those moving averages. So I think this right here is going to be a pullback down to $45. Would not be surprised if we do get that retest. And maybe the high for the day has already been formed for NIO stock right now. So Spotlight asks, what about PubMatic? We actually covered that in one of our weekend videos. And by the way, if you guys want to get more trade setups, I will be posting that over at our YouTube because I feel like a lot of people had a lot of positive feedback on that video, and you guys really enjoyed some trade setups with the stop losses, entries, exits, and so on and so forth. So maybe I'll do more of those. Well, PubMatic, I think it's up today, or it has had quite significant gains over the last few days, right? So right now it's down about 3%, but we already had a successful swing trade on this. We had a target of $35. We hit that a couple times, once on June 9th. Even today, the high for the day was $35.41. And that was a good 30% gain there. So I think that's the trade here. We'll look to see if we want to get into this again and have a re-entry. Right now, there's only one play that we have going on right now, and that's on Digital Turbine, ticker symbol APPS, and target there is $77 with an upside of close to 16% gain over there. So I think that's the only play that we have right now that's going on. Other than that, we closed out Alibaba, we closed out PubMatic, we closed out XBI. XBI actually is still going right now. This right here is a trade that we took on the biotech sector, up about 8% on this one. And then other than that, I think all of the other ones. We had one on Mara, which we took. Let's take a look at where that's trading. So it's down. It's pretty much flat on the day. But this right here was the complete analysis. We saw a breakout, and then we saw a retest of that support before seeing another breakout back up to $26, $27. So that was a good 20% gain there. All right, so going back over to NIO. Tesla's about to go green. That's awesome. Yeah, so we're seeing that bit of a pullback here for NIO, right? So from highs of 45.75, we are down roughly 1%. What do you think about Palantir, Andrew? So that's a great question. People who've been watching the channel probably already know where I stand on Palantir. Long-term winner, market cap sitting roughly at 46 billion. I easily see that well over 100 billion. That's going to be an easy 2x, in my opinion, for the long term. Short term, it's anybody's guess at the moment. We have broken out of that trend though, so this right here is the analysis. So we were forming this lower high, lower low. It does have some type of an overhead supply, so similar to NIO, it does have a little bit of wall that it needs to kind of break out over. That's going to be sitting roughly at 25.50 level. It's the same analysis. Once that wall gets broken, we see much cleaner breakouts as opposed to this choppy pattern, right? So for NIO, it's a very simple example. Once we absorbed all that supply, we're seeing much cleaner breakouts to the upside, much cleaner moves as opposed to the choppy action that we were seeing earlier. That's the same thing with Palantir right now. We're just seeing these back and forth movements, longer wicks, longer candles. It's hard to make a decision on direction for Palantir right now. So support, sitting roughly at 22.75, 22.80 levels, exactly at close to these 21 moving averages, the 50 EMA, because historically, we've gotten rejected at those time and time again with these couple false breakouts, and a perfect rejection of the 50 EMA coming in from April 27th. So that would be the level to watch, and the resistance at close to 25.85, and that's the resistance kind of aligned with this overhead supply that we need to see a breakout over. So DG Woods, Coinbase. So Coinbase is up a little bit over 1%. So I haven't really started a position on this. Just waiting to see if it does get a retest of 217. I mean, yesterday we were down a little bit over 1%. We came down to 221. I feel like a better entry would be 217 on this. And actually, I don't want to go over this right now because that wouldn't be fair to the Patreon members. I'm sorry. Because these are private trades that I do post on there. And just to respect all the members that we have in the private Discord, and we posted the whole trade analysis on there. You guys can go and read that as well. All right, so NIO stock is still up a little bit over 6% here, and yeah, we're just fighting that support at close to the 21 EMA on the 5-minute chart, and the 50 EMA sitting roughly at $44.50. So what indicators do you use? That's a great question. So indicators, for the most part, I like to use as few as possible. For the most part, the main thing I look at is a price action. So you'll notice support resistance levels across the board. We use like support resistance levels in terms of price action, and where previously we found any type of a floor or a ceiling for that stock. And then other than that, moving averages, very simple ones, are going to be the 21 EMA. So, to give you guys a very simple example, one of the stocks that I was actually watching yesterday, this was such an interesting play here. So I was watching Caterpillar, right? Caterpillar has been a strong value play. It's been validating those moving averages, the 21 EMA and the 50. Like every time it retests that 50 EMA, it bounces off of that level, right? Bounces off of that level every single time. You'll notice coming in from like August of 2020, when this whole rotation away from tech and growth started and value picked up, Caterpillar has just validated that 50 EMA, 21 EMA. Yesterday, I was looking at this chart and I knew after this breakdown below the 21 and the 50 EMA, I was about to send this as a trade alert to our Discord, but I just wasn't confident enough. I didn't think that this was actually going to break down to the downside, and actually did. Now we're down over 2%. This would have been a perfect play to the downside, because this is the first time we're seeing Caterpillar break down below the moving averages and break its uptrend And if you kind of zoom out, you'll notice since the pandemic, like since May of 2020, in over a year, this stock has never traded below its moving averages. So I think this is what traders were watching very closely. And this is the first time we're seeing that breakout. Same thing happened with John Deere. If you look at ticker symbol DE, another value company that I was watching at yesterday, same exact thing happened, right? Almost identical. It's crazy. Coming in from May 2020, same uptrend pattern, validating those moving averages, 2150 EMA, and this is the first time that we're seeing that breakout. And again, I was going to take a trade to the downside here, but I didn't feel confident enough for us to see some more downside, but we did, and we're now down about 76 basis points on the day. So this could persist. This is the first time we're seeing that, and this is now value sector will understand what it's like to actually trade to the downside and really break down in terms of the support levels. All right, so DG Woods, don't worry about it. My bad. I didn't realize right away, but yeah, Coinbase, 217 is going to be a strong support level to watch for that stock. And long term, I feel like it's trading at a very reasonable value. So fundamentally speaking, roughly $47.50 billion valuation for Coinbase is very attractive at these levels, right? Price to earnings, price to sales are very attractive as well. I don't think it's overvalued or too overvalued in this environment. So I think Coinbase is going to be a strong, attractive play over the long term as well. So 217 is a level I would watch as a support. So yeah, don't need to apologize there. My bad. All right, so let's take a look. So I'm holding a little bit over 400 shares of NIO on an average price $50. You think I should sell some NIO stocks and when? Do you think if I should sell some NIO stocks when it goes above 50, or should I hold? So that's a great question too. It really depends on your time horizon. Did you buy in earlier to basically invest for the long term in NIO, or did you really were taking it as a swing trade, right? That's the judgment that you need to make. I can't really make a decision on that for you, but it's a question that you need to ask. Are you in it for NIO for the long term, or was this a swing trade for you? Because if your average is 50 and you're asking about selling if it goes above 50, then you're practically just breaking even or having a small profit. I strongly believe, again, over the long term, this stock has a lot of potential. So it really depends on your time horizon and your reasoning behind why you took it. So I'm in it for the long term. So if you're in it for the long term, this is a stock that's a hold 3+ years, 4+ years, as they ramp up production and deliveries. Because think about it. I mean, NIO is just getting started. I mean, they just expanded into Norway. And this is just the beginning. They just got done with building 250 battery swapping stations in China alone, right? They're going to do more of those this year. The target is 500. Their internal target is even more aggressive, right? I can only imagine what their internal target is. So I think this company is just getting started, right? And with China, they are going to be pushing more NIO than they are going to be some other electric vehicle manufacturers. So it's easily like a $75 target I have in 2021. And then for 2023, 2024, it's going to be more so at $150 plus target. So Zoom is zooming today, so let's take a look at Zoom. Zoom, I was reading up a little bit. I think it got an upgrade. Could be wrong, but I did remember reading some type of a headline today. So Zoom to remain relevant in the post-pandemic hybrid work environment. RBC names top pick. I think yes. So it did receive some type of an upgrade. So RBC analysts Rishi Julia and Matthew Hedberg rated the company outperform and set the price target at 450. Down from 480 previously, while naming its top pick. So they are seeing a bit of a so it's weird, right? When stocks do receive these downgrades, and in reality these are still much higher than where they are trading now. So I would still call this a bit of a re-rating, so to speak. It's not going to be an upgrade or a downgrade. It's going to be a re-rating for the stock. I think downgrade usually happens when from current price target, it's trading at a much lower level. Or it's rated at a much lower level. So if they came out and said $300 new price target, that's going to be a downgrade. I think it's just getting re-rated to 450. 450, right? So yeah, 450 down from 480 previously reported. So I think that's the big reason why we're seeing a bit of a push higher. And even a post-pandemic world, I think Zoom is going to have more value there over the long term. But we are seeing a breakout. I mean, this has been lower highs and lower lows. Perfect validation of that support at 275. And a successful breakout over this resistance, which was sitting at 350, and a jump over 34%. So there's certainly more upside. Keep a close eye on the RSI and the MACD as well as we approach more overbought levels here. And the next resistance to watch is going to be that 200 SMA sitting perfectly at close to 385, 386 levels.
So all right, NIO is back up to 4560 levels. You know, if you were to take a look at the 5-minute chart here, we can make some type of an argument that it's again forming some bull flags here. So this was kind of like the strong uptrend, consolidation, breakout. And this right here is again some consolidation sideways is what we are seeing for NIO stock. That could lead to a further breakout to the upside if we trade back over 45.75. So Michael, yeah, it does look like a bull flag right now. NIO about to test high of day. Yep, we're gonna look at this. So I literally just found your live stream randomly, and I didn't know if you review cryptos, but can you please help me get an idea on target of Bitcoin and Ethereum for this month? Sure. That's a great question. So I can go over to our crypto analysis. Actually, we are on our crypto analysis here. So I'm gonna take a look at, so Alibaba stock, Flame, I'll definitely take a look at that. Alibaba in just a second. So let's talk about Bitcoin. I know there's a lot of different studies being done on Bitcoin with respect to the Wyckoff distribution. So NIO actually breaking out over 45.73. So we'll keep that over here. So yeah, we're up almost 7% once again. We're breaking out over 45.75, but the high for the day still sits at 45.80. There we go. NIO is about to prove me wrong with another high of day. So yeah, I'm not too familiar with the Wyckoff study there and how, you know, there's been several research notes out there that it's being manipulated a little bit. Can't speak to that because there's no actual or factual data that's suggesting that we're seeing, you know, any type of margin here or any type of orchestrated sell-off. But there's this basic support at close to 30,000. There's a lot of analysts that are suggesting 20,000 as the next support, but I strongly believe that 30,000 is a really big demand level for Bitcoin. And even if you do retest that level, I mean, we've just been consolidating sideways, right? If you were to take a look at this trend, it's just been more so to the downside, but it's just been like this. And you can make an argument that this is a bear flag setting up, that we have seen a bit of a downside here for Bitcoin. Bear flag, 30,000 next stop. That's been the support here. So I think 30,000 is the more near-term support to watch. And you know, if you knew about the negative divergence or the bearish divergence, we could have spotted this out. And I think, you know, we also talked about it earlier where there was negative divergence setting up for Bitcoin, right? Lower highs and the higher lows. We had this on the chart. Now, I'll be honest, like I didn't expect like a breakdown 50% all the way down to 30,000, even though we did have that support, but I was expecting more so like around the 42,000, 43,000 breakdown, but we did see a more you know, severe breakdown to the downside. So 30,000 is going to be the next support level. And resistance to watch is going to be aligned with that 21 EMA first. So if I were to remove all these lines, you'll notice that 21 EMA perfectly kind of getting aligned, and that's the level that we are getting rejected at. So let me see what your question was. So may get an idea on a target for Bitcoin and Ethereum for this month. I mean, it's so difficult to predict Bitcoin's price when it comes to the narrative because there's so many press releases and catalysts that kind of get priced in. When we learn about the El Salvador and how they're accepting Bitcoin as their legal tender, you know, those type of news, it's kind of hard to judge, right? What news catalysts are going to come out that's going to drive Bitcoin to potentially higher. But you know, 21 EMA close to 30,000 is going to be the level to watch, and 30,000 is the support. All the way as high as 42,000. Those are two resistance levels I would watch personally very closely, and that's also aligned with that 50 EMA. 45.86 for NIO. Look at that, 45.87. It's up over 7%. Very quickly, we'll talk about Ethereum, then we'll jump over to Alibaba. All right, so MR says, "Let's go, NIO community rocks." So love it. Yeah, so we're seeing the breakout for Ethereum, a breakdown for Ethereum, right? So these were right here were the higher lows, and you'll notice that we are seeing a bit of a breakdown here for Ethereum to the downside. And now the next support level for Ethereum is going to be sitting roughly at 2150s. That's going to be this trend line that I would watch, and the only reason is because that has been the previous support for Ethereum several times, once here, a couple times over here, previous resistance. So we broke out back to that support, and that is the next level of support to watch for Ethereum. And again, you can make an argument that we're seeing a bear flag being formed for Ethereum too. And that's going to look something like this, where we are just consolidating sideways after coming down
from over here. So, sell off, bear flag, potential breakdown to the downside. If we do see one, 1800 is going to be the next level to watch all the way down here, 1874. Can you make a video on Palantir or review it on your live? We did review it on the live. If you want to go back on the live stream a little bit, you'll be able to see that. We did go over Palantir, so I did share my analysis on that as well. All right, so let's go back over to NIO's 5-minute and the 1-minute chart. I think that's the most exciting part here, is that we're seeing that breakout. Look at that. So we are seeing that breakout to the upside from that bull flag from NIO. And it just made a high of day at 45.88. So we were almost testing highs of $46. So again, we basically, the pattern has been for NIO intraday, at least it's been, a rally, bull flag, breakout, bull flag, potential breakout to the upside. So really, where we go from here depends on the volume that we get. We're already at our average 10-day volume. We're like literally just crossed our average 10-day volume at 54.7 million, and it's only 12:40 p.m. We got about another 3 hours left for the markets to close. So the resistance to watch for NIO, Harsha, that's a great question, is going to be 46.30 levels. 46.35, 46.40 levels. That's going to be the level, only because that's the previous resistance, previous high coming in from March. And the way we're going, would not be surprised if we do actually end up hitting 46.30 or 46.20 levels as the high for the day. That's the next resistance I would watch for NIO. So these are also like these higher lows on the 1-minute chart. The NIO is forming, with these sort of like a wedge that we are starting to kind of fill in for NIO stock. So Andrew says, "Let's go NIO." Yes, let's go. We've seen quite a bit of a move, and we waited so long for this, right? Now over 98% of investors are profitable on NIO stock. I think I was reading it, the analysis yesterday. I think after today it's going to be more like 99%, 99 point something percent of investors are going to be profitable on NIO stock. So that's absolutely incredible. Talk about buying the dip though. Like, NIO investors didn't give up. Like we didn't. After seeing that drop from like over, 52% from $67, this, we didn't give up. We actually kept on, buying up because we knew the potential for the company long term. And that's exactly what we're getting rewarded for. Patience pays off over the long term. Year to date, NIO stock still has a little bit of work to do. Actually, not a lot of work. After today, we may actually be up on the year. That would be incredible. Like we were down 6.8% after yesterday's move. Let me see on the daily chart. Where did we close on December 31st? Does anybody remember? Where did we close on December 31st, 2020 for NIO stock? So December 31st. So December 31st or 30th, so 31st was a holiday. No, actually it was an open day. So we closed at $48.74. So we closed at $42.74 for NIO. So from those levels right now, right now we're only down about 5% year to date. This is the exact analysis. So, and look at the volatility here. We went all the way up to 67, came all the way down to 30, just consolidated for the most part below that level, and we're back up, seeing that momentum to the upside. So let's see if we can actually get that continuation from that bull flag and what we're seeing the breakout over. So Nada says 550 holding strong. That's awesome. Congratulations. That's incredible. So my average was 52, right now it's 35. That's awesome. That's incredible. Talk about buying the dip. So Harshit says, thank you so much. Waiting for 60K subscribers. Yes, so we're trying to get there slow and steady. Slow and steady. So I was just hoping someone would be live during this rally. So here we are, the NIO gang. By the way, I'm also thinking about doing like some more collaborations with other people, so I'll definitely be working on that in the future as well. Just the stronger this community is, the better it is, right, for us investors. The more information that we can gather, learn from each other, get more feedback on our analysis, see where we are wrong, see where we are right, and work our way with NIO to potentially go up to back over $100. So biggest news going to be NIO entering North American market. Yes, that is true, and we've already seen. I mean, it's not like they don't have an office. Like they already do have offices. They do have people working. It's just a matter of time, right? So So Adam says, I'm turned in. That's awesome. Thank you so much for joining in. So are you more bullish on NIO or Palantir? That's a great question. That's actually one of the best questions I've received today. It's kind of a hard decision here. Palantir, it's just that with the way they explain things, it's you have to have a good understanding on the software itself, and software as a service with artificial intelligence and the way things work there, to really understand how their platform benefits companies. Because up until last year, they didn't even have a sales team, right? And they actually hired salespeople to explain the product and the services that they offer. So I think Palantir lacks a little bit of that user engagement, so to speak, with their clients. I think that's what's really causing them to really sell their products and services a lot, right? But that's going to happen eventually. Over the long term, more and more people are going to realize what their platform can do, and we're definitely going to see Palantir also take off. But right now, I feel like both of them are trading on almost the same market cap. So Palantir is at 45, NIO is at 67. But I would have to say that I'm more, I don't know, that's a tough question. I'd say I'm probably bullish on both by a lot. But if I were to choose one, it's a tough question. I might have to think it over, because there's just too many variables that go into the whole total. I would say this: NIO definitely has a bigger total addressable market when it comes to. Well, actually, you know what? I don't know. I take that back. Because Palantir has it too, but it's more B2B, right? It's more business to business. They can only sell it to other businesses. There's no consumer end of things. So, but how much companies are willing to spend on their software is really determined by the value that they provide. So it could be a lot, it could be a lot less. So software as a service does have a lot of value proposition over the long term, because data is a great commodity. It's a commodity that only people are using more and more of. We're collecting more data every single day. And at some point, businesses too, they're going to need to consolidate all that data and make sense of it. And that's what Palantir helps with, right? They help you with basically extracting all that data points, making sense by identifying weaknesses, opportunities, and basically, sorry, don't answer the question, bullish on both. Yes, I'm probably bullish on both by a lot. But that question really got me thinking though. All right, so definitely a very bullish candle, right? So we're all the way as high as 45.87 trading as high as that level. Back over those moving averages, acting as some type of a support. Still trading inside this wedge. So you'll notice that we are still consolidating right now, getting rejected at these sort of higher highs. All right, let's go over Alibaba very quickly. So Dave says, first time I bought NIO was when Caddy announced triple bottom at 34. I bought one more yesterday at 42. That's awesome. Congratulations on the profit here. All right, let's take a look at Alibaba. So Alibaba is down about 81 basis points. We had a swing trade on this. It's already closed, so it's not a live swing trade right now. But we did take a swing trade at close to 212, 200, exactly where it's trading right now. We had an entry. And the next following days, you'll notice that we gapped up heavily over 6%. It was like a low risk, low reward trade. So we were only risking just about 1% to gain over 6%, because we had a tight stop loss under 210. But this trade is closed and we're back down. It's no surprise that we're, this is the lower high trend line that we're seeing. So lower highs being formed. And shout out to Mark on our Discord. I want to give him full credit, because he did identify this higher support, or the ascending support that you're seeing, the green line. And that's the level that Alibaba has also validated a couple of times in the past. One of the things you'll notice is that if I switch this logarithmic off, it's going to be a different trend line. I'll have to move that down a little bit to really make sense of that bounce, tag. So that's the support level that it's validating. But I like to use logarithmic prices. So, we're going to have to move that up a little bit. And that's going to be the ascending support that it seems to have gotten validated at several times. Now, we are approaching that support. It's setting up for a good risk-reward trade ratio setup, so to speak. So if you can find an entry here, under 210 or close to $210, that will have very limited downside risk, because you can set a stop loss right under 203, 200. That's going to be risking about 4% for a very strong reversal if it comes through. Only because only because I mean Alibaba, fundamentally speaking, is way undervalued, right? We can all agree that it, in my opinion, doesn't deserve to be trading at $211. There's price targets well over 230, like $250, $300 per share, but it's just the regulations and the scrutiny, the constant investigations, the fines. The market is just pricing in all that risk, so to speak, right? If you put Alibaba, compare that with Amazon, Alibaba should be trading at a much higher multiple, because they do have the cloud business too. It's not just the core retail business, but they do have the cloud business. They're in so many different places, but like, you know, price to sales at 5, price to earnings at 26, like 26 price to earnings. That's insane. So fundamentally undervalued, but just based on the momentum and the volume and the price action, there's no confirmation of a trend reversal. There's no confirmation that we may see an upside or a trend reversal here just yet. So I'd be more comfortable either setting up, if you're an aggressive trader, you know, I'd be more comfortable kind of setting up a trade plan here with a tight stop loss underneath 200 or maybe even 203 to only risk about 3.5-4%, and for us to have a price target maybe back up to this resistance level, or even as high as like, you know, 246, $250. That's going to be a jump of close to 19 or 20%. But fundamentally, I think it's going to take some time for us to really see some momentum pick up for Alibaba. So Baba hasn't moved up in years. Yeah, I think it's coming in from like December of last year that we haven't moved up. So NIO almost breaking out. So high for the day, $46. This right here is a follow through that we're seeing, successful continuation from that bull flag. And just a lot of momentum here from NIO, like right at the open, right from the get-go. You know, we've seen a massive move to the upside from NIO stock. So didn't get an alert again, found you by chance. One fast duster, are you part of our Discord? I sent the alert this morning. As soon as I went live, I sent it to everyone on our Discord, just letting them know that I'm going live. So the alert should have been there. If you're not part of our Discord, I do apologize, because I know that YouTube does send like delayed updates and notifications. So yeah, if you're part of our Discord, you'll probably get that right away. So Mark says, joining the live late with NIO, seems like we didn't get a healthy pullback. Do you see a new support line for a pullback? So there's a clear resistance at 46.30. It would not be surprised, like I said, if you do get that level hit today. So we're trading almost exactly at $46 right now. So there we go. We just broke out over $46 again. Now we're trading as high as $46.01. And the support level is going to be $40. And the RSI of the MACD, as we do approach overbought levels, it wouldn't surprise me if you do any type of a pullback or a retest of that support level before making the next leg up higher. So if you guys remember correctly, this right here was the analysis, right? And we still have it on point, like so far. So we're seeing that resistance. I don't want to see a retest to $40, but you know, that's the reality of these moves higher. We see progress because we can't have the stocks go up in a straight line, right? This is not going to be, you know, something like this. This scenario is a lot different or difficult to do than this scenario, because this is actual progress. This is patterns improving over time, as opposed to this parabolic move, because this also leads to parabolic move to the downside. But this consistent uptrend actually has a lot of breadth, a lot of volume, a lot of organic buying behind it, as opposed to a couple days of momentum and volume picking in, because that usually does end up rolling over once again. So I'm more happy with NIO, you know, maybe coming down to $40. That will give us all a good buying opportunity to kind of reload more shares and then make the next leg up higher to break out over 46.35. And we'll see. I mean, the high for the day is 46.11. We're almost on our way to 46.30 levels. We're seeing that follow through outside of this wedge, outside of this bull flag as well on the 5-minute chart. So it don't need to hit 40. NIO has passed where it only just goes up. Yeah, I mean, you know, I would love for it to only go up. Absolutely, I would love for it to only go up. But you know, when it comes to technical patterns, straight line movements to the upside are not, like, I'm personally more okay with us kind of having a solid uptrend with higher highs and higher lows. It's more so, you know, a more organic and an actual buying pressure, more breadth behind it, so to speak, with the relative strength. Only because we're seeing the RSI move with the price as opposed to kind of diverge away, because that usually does lead to a much bigger fall or a correction. All right, so 70x soon. Yeah, XPeng has also been up, right? XPeng has also been up like a rocket today. Like it's up over 8% or something, 7.5%. Huge move to the upside. And this is also something that we covered in our videos in the past. So let me go over that. So 46.12, we're trading all the way as high as 46.12 right now. And XPeng, this right here was the complete analysis, right? I hope it was over here. Alright, so maybe it was this analysis. So we are seeing a perfect retest of 37.50. So look at this trend. I mean, coming in from May 13, XPeng has basically gone up over 80%. Absolutely incredible move to the upside. And year to date, XPeng stock doesn't show on here right now. But $46 is going to be the next resistance for XPeng. And 37.50 is a really strong support on the day. But again, the R side of the MACD are a little bit on the overbought side, so I would be very careful with that in the short term. But of course, over the long term, things can persist there for longer. So let's go with the NIO. So we high for the day 46.14. We're almost testing our high of day right now. So Sheila says yes, NIO is trending up. Thank you, Caddy. You're welcome. You're welcome, of course. Adam says NIO for the long, 5,000 shares at $18. That's absolutely incredible. Congratulations on the gains. That's awesome. So what do you guys think? 46.30 for resistance, high of day today? Yes or no? What do you guys think? Let me know in the live chat. So Kentuck says 42 to 46 was one day. Jesus. So on the 5-minute chart, so far I don't see a successful negative divergence. Only because the RSI is trading as high as 70, and this is even higher than the previous high. So we did see some. I'm not going to take away from that. So if you look at the simple overprice action, we did see some negative divergence and we've rolled over. That was a correction that we saw on the 1-minute chart. And then moving forward, you'll notice that this higher highs is actually coming in with the RSI. It's actually coming in on a much higher breadth as well. So we're seeing that higher highs being formed on both the relative strength and the price itself. So personally, I don't see any type of a divergence here just as of yet for NIO stock. And yeah, definitely seeing that breakout from that bull flag, right? This is the second time you actually saw that breakout. So if I were to kind of highlight that very quickly, so this was the first time over here. That was the bull flag that was forming. This was a much bigger consolidation and a much bigger bull flag, and then we saw a breakout over. Moving forward, would not be surprised if we do get that consolidation started again. So if you do see some more horizontal highs, horizontal lows kind of be range bound before breaking out to the upside even more. So we could close about $46. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we could close about $46. I mean, it's already trading as $46.11. And those moving averages, I mean, if I bring out the VWAPs here, so I don't know if I have the VWAPs, so if I do. So yeah, we've just traded above the middle and the top VWAP, right? And it's just been validating the 21 EMA. So the pattern is strong. There's definitely a lot of, this is not like you're going to see a rollover of the pattern. This is not like we're going to see a lot of choppiness. I think the only caveat that I would watch is the broader markets. I mean, if there's anything that happens, like there's any piece of catalyst or news that comes out for the S&P or the NASDAQ, if you see like end of the day, like dump for the S&P, the NASDAQ, then that does affect some stocks. But this is a strong move on heavy volume for NIO. Like you're already at 60 million shares versus the average Sunday volume. So this is the pattern that is strong. So So yeah, now we're just like starting to consolidate a little bit on the 1 minute chart, right? So you'll notice that we are just starting to go sideways once again, similar to what we saw here before we saw that breakout. We have seen a couple breakdowns here, but no negative divergence so far. I mean, there was a little bit of divergence here, then we saw a breakdown once again. AMC, let's check it. AMC actually we haven't checked out in a while. AMC is also up over 8%, so there we go. So yeah, AMC is also pushing higher. Yesterday was a little bit of a weakness there for AMC, down about 13%, but there's a lot of support levels that AMC has been holding up. If you go over to the 4-hour chart, you'll notice that it's also validating that 50 EMA perfectly, and we are seeing these lower highs and this higher low, so to speak. Not so much of a higher low, but definitely seeing this symmetrical wedge, so to speak, being formed. Or you could call it like a bullish pennant, because there's not like higher lows, so to speak, but there's like horizontal lows. So I mean, we're almost poised for some move in either direction. I mean, considering the prior trend has been up, so this was the prior trend to the upside, and now we're forming these lower highs and a horizontal support. I mean, AMC is just gearing up. It's just coiling in to make a move to the upside. Like the probability suggests that we could see a breakout, like an explosive breakout to the upside, only because of this prior trend. And usually when these moves happen, you can kind of retrace this level, and you can make an argument that this is going to be the next move. So you can make an argument. So this right here is going to be the next move for AMC at close to about $120. Again, that really depends on the short interest. There's nothing been confirmed yet, but that's just the pattern that I'm looking at, just based on the lower highs and the higher lows being formed, and just the prior trend that was higher, and a bullish pennant being formed. So I would create an alert over $49 or $50 per share. As you guys can already see, I've got several alerts set up on AMC and on NIO as well. Look at NIO, almost at 4630 target for the day. Almost at 4630 target for the day. We're seeing jump over 8% for NIO stock. So Dave says, I see $52 today. Is it for NIO or is it for AMC? Because we're practically both trading almost exactly the same. This is insane. Like, think about this for a second. NIO trading at $46.23, it's up over 8%. AMC trading at $46.50, it's up over 8%. They're both trading at the same price and they're both up the same amount. Coincidence? I don't think so. Or maybe it is. But that is incredible. Same percentage move to the upside, trading at the same level. So I think they're both up $3.40 some cents. Yeah, they're both up $3.30, $3 and change. All right, so now we're seeing on the 1 minute. This is a bigger bearish candle here. So there we go. We are seeing a pullback here. So the RSI on the 1 minute is still higher, right? So we're still trading as at 76. So it's not. There's no clear indication of a negative divergence here just yet. I mean, if you look at it from a broader scheme of things, like if you look at this higher high, so coming in from 1130 till now, you can make an argument this is the negative divergence that we've been waiting for, right? Higher highs and the lower highs for the relative strength. So maybe that plays out. So if you do see any type of a retracement, I'd wait for 45.70, maybe 45.75 levels. If we do see any type of a weakness here for NIO, and that would be this level getting filled right here. So right there, that would be the level getting filled for NIO stock if we see some more weakness here, which looks like we are getting filled all the way down to 45.70 levels, right? So there you go. The RSI, look at the relative strength index on the 1 minute chart. Huge pullback, and look at that 1 minute chart. We're almost coming down to these higher lows after the negative divergence that was forming the lower highs and the higher highs here. So 2 minutes, volume also picking up a little bit. So we are seeing potentially some profit taking here. Could be. And same with AMC, right? It's now up over 7% back down to 45.90 levels. So Javier says that's insane. Yeah, so we did go over XPeng. If you're gonna go back to the live stream a little bit, you will be able to see the analysis on XPeng as well. So 1 p.m. selling time for most. Yeah, so we're seeing that gap kind of fill in. Let's see if we actually do see some more weakness for NIO. So high for the day, look at that, guys, 46.26. 46.26. What was the resistance on the daily chart? I'm not gonna pull it up here, but if you guys have been watching, what was the resistance on the daily chart that we talked about for NIO? What was the resistance that we talked about? Let me know in the live chat if you guys have been watching for a while. So we'll pull that up right now. So yes, we talked about 46.30ish. And there you go, 46.34 was the resistance that we talked about, right? Previous resistance coming in from March 21st, or no, March 12th. Same exact level where we are seeing a bit of a rejection there from NIO. And on the 1 minute chart, it's pretty apparent, right? As soon as that level got hit, we saw 2 candles to the downside. Even the 5 minute candle broke down to the downside. So 46.30, Prasad, you're absolutely right. 46.30, 46.30. So just 4 cents shy of that resistance coming in from March 12th. So, you know, ideally, and personally, I would want NIO to break out over 46.30, but this is the analysis I'm going to stay put with, right? This is, and I hope I'm wrong with this analysis, but a much stronger move, a much healthier move comes in with organic growth, with much breadth behind it and the relative strength. So the RSI, the MACD, no doubt looking overbought here on the daily chart. So that would be the resistance intraday, right? That's going to be the level to watch. You think it's a bull trap? I don't think it's a bull trap, only because we've seen the volume pick up intraday. We've talked about the 5 minute and the 1 minute chart, and they're strong. Like, they were trading above the moving averages. This is a strong buying day for NIO stock is what we're seeing. There's no choppiness in the pattern. We've seen a couple negative divergence. That's bound to happen intraday. That's normal. But I personally don't think it's a bull trap. But I do think technically we are approaching some type of an overbought level here. Yep, so 46.32 is going to be the level to watch. And we're almost back trading as high as $46 once again. So 5 minute chart, we are seeing that buying pressure off like clockwork. Yeah, let's see if we actually break out over. How many guys think we're gonna break out over 46.32 today, or if we're gonna see some type of rejection here, and fill that candle here? So that's gonna be the higher low intraday for NIO. So one faster says nope. Pulls back some, I think. Yeah, right now it's holding up its 50 EMA nicely. It's trying to stay up there, but there's weakness. We're seeing that rejection from the 21, so would not be surprised if we come down to 45.70, you know, this higher low, and that's going to be the real test if we continue on this uptrend on the 1 minute, or if we do see a breakdown. And on the 21 EMA, that's going to be sitting at 45.56. And remember, you guys, so if you do see a breakdown below 21 EMA on the 5 minute chart, that would be the first time we're seeing that on the 5 minute chart. So 4 hour chart. Yeah, I mean, you could make an argument that there could be some divergence here for NIO stock, because the RSI is making some lower highs here as the pattern continues to make these higher highs. So, you know, the next 4 hour candle is the real decider here. We just opened, I think we opened at, 8 to 12 and then 12 to 4. So we opened about an hour ago. Still got less than 3 hours left for us to go. New high for NVIDIA. That is incredible. That is amazing. Nvidia just break out over 7. Oh wow, like Nvidia just unbelievable breakout here. 2.5%, 714. Amazing, amazing move to the upside. This is the uptrend. According to this, the target would be 745. You know, with the way things are going with Nvidia, I wouldn't be surprised if you do get that retest or that breakout to new all-time highs. All right, so NIO is coming down. It kind of filled this entire gap here, and the 21 EMA is holding up on the 5-minute chart. Do you think NIO will go down to $40? It's kind of hard to say, but that is the analysis here that I have. You know, we did see a retest to as 46.30, almost got exactly rejected at that level, and the RSI and the MACD are somewhat overbought right now, so would not be surprised if we do get that retest of those moving averages before making the next leg up higher to the upside. But there were a lot of catalysts that came out for NIO, so you know, we could see some more continuation too. Alright guys, so it's pretty late over here. It's 10:40 p.m. Pedro, welcome to the community. I really appreciate you. Maybe we'll do this for 5 more minutes for Pedro. I'll be live for him for a little bit longer. Whatever stock you want, just let me know, and I'll do a technical analysis on that. So AA.sex, thank you. I invested in Nvidia thanks to you. So yeah, congratulations, new all-time high. It's absolutely incredible with Nvidia, right? Stock split was the big move here. So the 21 EMA acting as some type of support, and so is this higher low for NIO stocks. You'll notice that we are validating this support here for NIO stock. So again, this is the higher highs and the higher lows, and 21 EMA again acting as a support. We're back up over 7% on the day. Would you short Nvidia? I would not. I wouldn't be shorting Nvidia, only because there's no limit to how high that thing can go. AMC is now up over 11%. That's awesome. That is incredible. So this is the 4-hour chart, right? We're almost seeing that breakout. So again, like I said, there might be an explosive move coming. You know, that's the horizontal support, kind of aligned with that 50 EMA, perfectly sitting, just ready, literally ready for a break here. And that would be the lower highs that we're forming. So bullish pennant forming, and that would be the level to watch. Can you look at ASML for the group? I found it very stable and all is going up. Check it out, please. Yeah, Dave, I'll definitely be doing that. You know, I can also take a look at it during our private live streams, and kind of go over the whole technical piece and the fundamental analysis as well for the stock. And kind of we cover like 35 to 40 different tickers like on our private live streams, all for you guys. And we usually do that like once a month or twice a month over the weekends. So I think there's another one that I'll be scheduling for this weekend. Either tomorrow or Sunday, or maybe next weekend, depending on the availability for everyone. But all right, guys, so I'm actually gonna get some sleep. Gotta wake up early tomorrow to put those updates out for you guys. And again, do make sure that you guys check out the Patreon link down in the description below. Again, we've got very limited spots. I don't want anybody to miss out. So we got about 21 or I think 20 spots left for our Patreon. So if you want to get access to the private live streams, the Discord, trading view links here, all these charts will sync automatically with you guys. And of course, our trade setups, swing trading opportunities as well, and the buy and sell alerts, all that will be linked down in the description below. Thank you so much for joining in. I really appreciate you. And thankfully, we only had one problem today with the live stream, with the Wi-Fi and the power outage. And thankfully, that was fixed. So I really appreciate you guys, you know, working through those challenges. Really appreciate it, and thanks for spending the time with me. NIO up a little bit over 7.5%. We're back over $46 on the day. I'll kind of tune in again in the morning to see where we closed. And AMC also making a move for the upside, now up over 13%. So congratulations to everyone on the gains. Love you guys. Peace.